What's up, guys? We're here from the Hackchick podcast. I'm here with the main man, the future UFC Middleweight champion of the world, Mr. Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus, pleasure to meet you, finally. We've but never really got a chance to meet, so I'm really happy to meet you and have a chat to you. First off, crazy couple of weeks for you. I saw the videos. I'm sure everybody saw the videos of you at the World Cup final. How was it? Not just being at the World Cup final, but then obviously seeing the boys lift the trophy in person like that.
Yeah, I mean, being there in itself is bucket list stuff. Now I got invited. So happy for the opportunity to be there and see. But I mean, that doesn't even justify what it was like to be there. You know, just as a fan of sports, of rugby, and of course a very, very proud Springbok and South African. Watching our boys go out there and perform the way they did, I'm getting goosebumps again. Just in that environment, you know, against all the odds. Once again, they just wrote us off, and the boys went out there 3 weeks in a row, and not win, but claw their way to victory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every week I thought, this is it. This is it. You know, going crazy, the whole country. I just see videos of people going crazy, and I mean, people saw a video of me at the game. That was me at my house every weekend before that. You know, just going crazy for boys, and you know, that's a moment I will tell my grandkids about one day. It was a moment that will be iconic in sports, for the history books, 100%. And for me, one of the proudest moments of my life.
Yeah, back to back. I mean, that puts our guys in a very, very elite group. I mean, like with the All Blacks from 2011 to 2015, Kolisi is up there with McCaw now. I mean, just to be there in person was special. Must have been special. The emotions, I mean, like you say, we saw the video of Jason Momoa and Novak Djokovic in the background. Like, what did they say to you guys, or did you guys see them and approach them? Because there's a video of you also giving them a beer, and then after the final whistle, Jason Momoa coming to you and hugging you and things like that. So, did you guys just strike up a conversation with them, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I went to Djokovic, obviously being a sporting legend, Djokovic, the greatest ever. You know, I went to speak to him a little, say hi, what up, get a photo. But Jason Momoa actually saw him in the booth before the game started, and I said, holy shit, that's Aquaman. And I actually went up to him and he said, hey, you're the guy that fights in the UFC.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I said, yeah. And I assumed he would know because, you know, he's a New Zealand guy. And, you know, there was a little bit of friendly banter. I said, you guys are going down. And we exchanged a couple of words, but we were in a very fancy booth. I didn't know this. That's why everybody had nice clothes on. And myself and my friend Esty, we had the jerseys on. Didn't know that's how it works in that booth, because and you saw everybody celebrated like this, and we didn't do that.
Anything but, yeah.
Next time, I didn't know, but I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't be doing it any different. That's not how we watch rugby as South Africans. We go crazy in supporting our boys, but now in Jason, everybody they only had champagne there, and as far as I know, and we had those plastic cups, and some of our friends were sitting in the booth next door, and we just got, because I'm not going to drink champagne while watching the boys play, and we got the beers, and I saw Jason Momoa and his, I think it was his bodyguard, his manager, sat there, and they looked at us with these hungry eyes, and I said, hey guys, do you want a beer?
Yeah.
And they were like, yes please, because you couldn't really get a plastic cup of beer, or you could get beer, but you're not allowed to bring it out because you don't have plastic cups because it's fancy.
Yeah.
And we just took
fancy
it.
People don't do plastic.
No, we just had it like four of it because we don't want to walk up and down. I was like, cool. And we gave them beers, and they were like, oh, thank you. And like you saw, they were the only other two that went crazy with us. And we got more beers, and we offered them, and so that's how that happened. And then afterwards, he was also very patriotic, and he was also enjoying the game. And afterwards he came, he said, good game, but nice guy all around. Really cool to meet him, and and watching a game with, even though we were enemies in the game, it was all good competition.
Yeah, it's always like that between South Africa and New Zealand. Like in the game, it's balls to the wall, and then afterwards it's camaraderie and friendship and mutual respect.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at a sporting unit like the All Blacks, one of the greatest sporting units in sports in the world. I'm not talking about in rugby, in sports. What they've done in the history of the sport, the consistency they've been playing great at. They are a team that I've read a lot about in terms of how they approach their professionality, how they approach the team. But they do everything right. And but I mean, then you have the box to compete against. And that's what makes it hard. So all the respect in the world to New Zealand team. I mean, they are just incredible.
Yeah. Greatest sporting rivalry, I think, in the world ever. Springboks and New Zealand must be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Mercedes Red Bull rivalry, just been going on for much, much longer.
Yeah. Just on you now, obviously Khamzat Chimaev, there's a lot of talk about him possibly getting a title shot next. Are you a little bit surprised at... I posted something that I tagged you and I was like, I wonder if the UFC is going to put the same sort of energy with Khamzat Chimaev, you know, the fight or forfeit energy, with him breaking his hand. Are you a little bit surprised that he's like the front runner now, even after you had seemingly got your number one contendership shot beating Robert Whittaker?
Yeah, I don't think he's the front runner anymore. After that performance, I honestly don't think. You know, the UFC said he's getting a title shot. It's the UFC at the end of the day. But I honestly don't think after that performance, nobody in the world thinks he's the front runner anymore. He could barely beat 0-2, even though he's one of the greatest welterweight of all times, probably.
Still a welterweight, though.
He's still a welterweight, and that was a close fight, a very close fight. Neither one of them is ranked at middleweight, so it just doesn't make sense. And as far as I know, he can't make it into the US at the moment. I don't know if they have a Abu Dhabi event planned anytime soon, but there's just something in me that feels that he's not the front runner anymore. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, and I think the UFC community, the MMA community and the fans and stuff, from everything I've seen, like, there's a million polls out there, there's a million posts out there that you are the rightful number one contender. So, I mean, we're hoping that definitely comes through. Also, with Adesanya, were you surprised that he took some time off? Having, obviously come off a loss, maybe that's a smart thing to do, but sort of have like a retirement talk or anything like that, or you're not really too phased about him? I know you said you want the belt, you're not really worried about who has it, but were you a little bit surprised by all of that?
Yeah, I think I was. I thought that, I honestly thought, especially when the whole Khamzat situation can happen and they said Dricus not getting a title shot, I said, well, listen, I'm not going to sit and mope about that. I don't care. I'm here to beat people. And I'll beat everybody because I want to be the champion of the world. You need to beat everybody in the world. And it was either going to be Adesanya after I win the belt, and I said, well, if we do it beforehand, the fight's just going to be just as big. It will be bigger than a world title fight. And I immediately in my head that, okay, cool, that's probably going to be the next fight. And the fact that he made that announcement quite a long while after the loss, if he did that right directly after, it's weird. Definitely some sort of publicity stunt. I mean, he says 2027. 2027, he's going to be like 38, 39.
It's 4 years away.
Yeah, I mean, that makes no sense. Whatever he decides to do, that's on him. Like I said, I would like to fight him when the opportunity arises, when it makes sense. But, if he's retired, well, semi-retired now, 100% I would rather fight for the belt than fighting against Adesanya. But winning the belt and defending it against him, that would be great.
Yeah, it might actually work out in everybody's favor because we all want to see UFC Africa. I think if you've got two people, well, one person from Africa, we don't know the second, but no. In all jokes aside, I mean, two African fighters to kick off a historic event in UFC Africa. I mean, that would be perfect. So you winning the belt in the next fight, hopefully, and then, you call the shots in. I mean, you could say, hey, Izzy, come, let's do the dance.
Yeah, 100%. I think, in my opinion, that would be a perfect scenario. That's how I have this in my mind. I would, fighting Izzy on African soil, or the first African event would be historical. It would be, for me, it would be an amazing honor, and that would be a perfect situation for me. Is beating Strickland, getting the belt, and saying, hey, listen, it's not 2027 yet, but let's be real. And you can take some time off, take a year off. You need to. After winning a belt, taking 6 months off for me, be no hassle. While they plan this Africa event, and then fighting Izzy, it would be worth the wait, 100%.
And I think it would be historical for you as well. You'll be the first person to beat Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya. Just as a little added extra onto it. It's an afterthought, I'm sure, for you. The title defense is obviously first, but yeah, that would be a nice feather in the cap.
Yeah, that would be something. Argue one of the greatest middleweights, two of the greatest middleweights, 100%.
Yeah, and you'll be on your path to becoming the greatest middleweight yourself. Just last two things. Obviously, you saw the Springbok celebrations at Oatamba, I'm assuming, and they're going to do the country tour. when, and not if, when you win the belt, are you going to do something similar, or is that not a thought just yet?
Well, I mean, funny enough that you said it. When I saw the videos, I was still I only arrived yesterday in Paris. I said, "Jeez, that's amazing!" And just seeing the country all over, everywhere, and the amount of people that were watching the fights at like watch parties, it's insane. And of course, you want that. You want that when you return home with your enemy's head. That's what you want. That's how it's been working for centuries. So now I would love that, but not really planning on it now. But I'm sure we'll have something special when the belt comes home, and it will be a special moment, and something I would only want to share with my country.
100%. Last question: when are you coming on the Hack Check podcast?
Next time in Cape Town, I promise.
Okay, 100%. It's on camera, so we got it there. So yeah, Dricus, I appreciate the time. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Sure.